Hello everyone, my name is, well, you really don't care what my name is. So, I decided that I was going to do one video for three movies that I was going to review today. I did this back months ago while I was away on my trip, and I decided I'm going to do the same thing today. And the movies I'm going to talk about are Bridge of Spies, Crimson Peak, and Goosebumps. Not in that order, so I'm going to start with the least uh, that I thought was not that good to the best. So let's start off first with Crimson Peak. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when this trailer for this movie came out, I actually thought it looked good. But I still had, some concerns because horror movies have been lacking a lot of horror as of late. So I didn't think this movie was going to be that scary, and I was right. So the story for this movie is actually not bad, but it's kind of predictable when you watch the trailer and when this movie's going on. I think it's around halfway when you realize, oh, that's how it's gonna go, and I was kind of right. It's still not a bad story. I actually thought it was well done, especially when you see the two main characters. The kind of romance we see with them and how much time we spend with them. It's not bad. I actually like it. And the tragedy that happens at the end is a tragedy, but I still liked it anyway. So the story is not bad. Um, but what about the characters? Were the characters good? Yes, the three main characters were actually good. I like the actor who played Loki and the role he plays in this movie. He did a great job, especially with his character who falls in love with our main actress who did a great job in this movie with her character too. You could tell these two did care about each other and how he cared about her despite what his sister, the other character in this movie, thinks. And yeah, she played a great role in this movie too. So she wasn't the best, but she did play a great role, and I liked how the movie went with these three characters. As far as the other characters, I didn't remember much about them. I just remembered these three, which were not bad. What about the special effects? Were the effects good? Not exactly. I mean, the design for the house looked great, and it is creepy. I would not want to spend any time in that house. But the effects for the ghosts, it's CGI. You could tell they didn't look that scary. Now, there were some creepy moments, I'm not gonna lie, but it didn't really make me scared. It didn't bring out fear in me. So I was kind of disappointed with that. But other than that, this is a good movie. It's not the worst, but I don't think this movie is gonna make that much money. At least I hope it does. I hope it does. And if you guys want to check it out, I would recommend checking it out. But bring a friend along so you guys can have some fun with this movie. Because I don't know if you can see it alone like I did. So let's go on now with Goosebumps. Was this movie good? Well, I gotta say, when I heard they were making this movie, I was looking forward to it because I love the TV show. I never read any of the books, which sucked, but I watched the TV show and I loved it. It was so much fun watching as a kid, and when I heard they were making this movie, I was looking forward to it. So the story for this we pretty much got from the trailer. This kid moves into town and he falls in love with this girl, but then the dad's being overprotective. He has this nerdy sidekick. They go into the house. They accidentally unleash the monsters from R.L. Stein's books, and oh, that's pretty much the movie. They have to put the monsters back in the book while also dealing with our main villain, Slappy, who I love, but I'll get to him in a bit. So the story for this is not bad. I gotta admit, I think this is actually a pretty good story for a Goosebumps movie because, to be honest with you, I don't know how else you can make a Goosebumps movie without having something like this happening. So they did a good job with this, and even explaining how R.L. Stein created these monsters. So that was good. But what about the characters? Were the characters good? Not exactly. The main character, the boy, I didn't like him much because he's the typical. I've seen that typical character before, so I didn't like him much. The same can be said about the girl as well. I didn't like her much either. They're not bad actors. They're just the characters. I've seen them so many times. I didn't care. The nerd sidekick, I actually didn't mind him at all. He has his funny moments, but honestly, I don't know. They just made him too nerdy. I don't know why. I didn't like that. I guess I just didn't like it. He's not a bad character, but I just don't think he was the best. Jack Black playing as R.L. Stein, miscast here, especially how he's trying to play a serious role. Every time he's trying to play, like trying to act serious, I'm sorry, I can't see that. Especially how he sounds. He tried to sound serious. This guy's been in too many comedy movies that we've been used to him being in. That him being in a role where he's trying to act serious, I'm sorry, like can't see that. It's kind of like when Vince Vaughn tried to play the killer in the remake of Psycho. I'm sorry, we just think that was a bit of a miscast there. He definitely didn't was not right for that role. The same thing can be said about Jack Black. So I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I just don't think he was a great R.L. Stein in this movie. But what about Slappy? This guy, I love Slappy. He scared me as a kid. I'm not lying. This guy, Slappy, in the TV show The Dummy, he scared me as a kid. I did not like this dummy at all. Every time I saw him, I would leave the room. I would stay out there until he finally leaves. And man, that was great. But I will admit, the appearance of Slappy is kind of a disappointment. He isn't that scary, but he still plays a great role. I still liked him. He is a great villain in this movie. Probably the best one in Goosebumps. So he's probably my favorite, the best one from the movie. What about the special effects for the monsters? Were they good? Yeah, I mean, the effects for the monsters were okay. I didn't mind them. For some of them, though, they didn't look like the monsters that we saw years ago as kids. So some of the appearance is kind of a letdown, but it's still not bad. So I would say Goosebumps is definitely worth watching. You can take your kids to watch it, or you can go with your friends to watch it, especially if it brings back good memories. I would recommend checking this out. Alright, now we get to the one that was probably the best one I've seen this week, Bridge of Spies. This is my favorite movie. Anything like this, that's based on a true story kind of movie, I'm definitely going to go watch. And Tom Hanks, man, in this movie, wow, bravo, sir. I'll get to him in a bit. Let's go over the story. The story for this movie is there's this Russian spy who gets arrested, by the federal agents, but they also want to try giving him a fair trial. So they get this lawyer played by Tom Hanks, who's an insurance guy, but he used to be a lawyer. So they bring him in because they think he can do a good job representing this guy. And Tom Hanks tries his best to defend this guy, but because everybody knows that he's a Russian spy, he isn't given a fair trial. In fact, even the judge doesn't give him a fair trial. In fact, he always says, "Hey, he's going to be guilty. So what? The jury are going to say he's guilty. I'm not even going to give you a fair trial." Even after Tom Hanks brings him all this evidence saying, "Yeah, the federal agents fucked up. This evidence should be brought in," the judge doesn't care. He still throws out the motion, so the guy is eventually found guilty. Sorry about that, spoilers. But anyways, around this time, a pilot gets captured by the Russians. So Tom Hanks is sent over to try to negotiate bringing him back, while also trying to do this fairly without any kind of consequences. Because this is around the Cold War. So there is tension. You can feel that there is tension between both sides, between the Americans, between the Russians. But Tom Hanks, he still wants to defend this guy. He still wants to show that America is not all bad, that they can actually be fair. And that's what I liked about the movie, and that's how well the story tells it. So I'm very happy how well the story does with this movie. And the characters. Let's go over the characters. Tom Hanks in this movie is great. The old guy that's playing the Russian spy, the chemistry between him and Tom Hanks is great. The interaction between these two, I love the interaction between the two, and how they do have some funny moments, and how they seem to understand one another, and I like that a lot. So I was very happy to see that. The other actors who played these roles as well, they did a great job as well. Especially the ones who, if they're trying to act like, why are you defending this traitor? Why are you doing this? You know, this is America. Like they really play that off really well. I like that a lot, especially the kids when they're watching this this video from the projector, of course, about what a nuclear bomb does. Like you can see a kid crying, like, oh my god, they actually show this to kids, and I find out, yeah, they actually did show them to kids. Like these kids are traumatized. No wonder these kids feel the same thing that the adults feel about this Russian spy. You could tell that much. So I did like the characters. They all played a great role, and the effects for how the cities of East Berlin, where the rest of the movie's gonna take place. I love how all that looked. How you could tell that this is after World War II. The Russians didn't want these people to rebuild their home. They just left it all in ruins. You can see that. Like you see the aftermath. You see how it looked. Like that is wow. And you see even people trying to climb over the Berlin Wall. You see them getting shot. Like oh my god, the effects for that's great. And yeah, you feel bad for them because that did happen. Like this all happened. Like not, I'm sure not exactly that way, but yeah, it is kind of like that. So wow, great job. This movie did a great job making me feel like I am not kidding. Like whenever there were emotional times, tears filled my eyes. I'm not even kidding. Like I actually did shed a tear. It was great. Like when a movie can do that, can make you care about these characters, can get you emotional, and just make you believe, want you to hope that things turn out well. It does a great job of doing that. So Crimson Peak is okay. Goosebumps is okay. Bridge of Spies, great movie. I would recommend checking that out. If you guys are interested in this kind of movie and you are a Tom Hanks fan, I recommend checking this out. This is a great movie. I loved it. I hope you all love it too. Okay, well, that's it, guys. If you have a different opinion about the three movies I mentioned, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. And I'll be here next time to give you more love and more entertainment. And yes, it's October. I will try my best to do reviews for horror movies. Okay? Sorry about that. So take care. See you all next time. Bye.